Right, it's the Pop Tower Podcast. I'm Peter W. Dawson.
I'm James Bullock.
And Morty, today we're going to talk about Jurassic World.
Oh, man. You've been saving this one?
Oh, yeah. What I've been saving is going to be playing later on in the episode, but first things first, we got to talk about Michael Crichton. He's the Crichtoniest, Morty. The Crichtoniest. Yeah, we're going to... So... Today is a Michael Crichton episode. This is why we're not doing the usual banter. And
the world of Michael Crichton.
Sorry?
It's the world of Michael Crichton episode.
Pretty much, yeah, because we're talking about, too, his more famous property. Like, he's done a lot of properties. I mean, there's plenty of other stuff we could talk about of his. But there's two we're talking about that are relevant. And the first one's a TV show, which is Westworld.
Yes. Second season just wrapped up this past weekend.
Yep.
As of this recording.
Yep.
We're all still utterly confused.
Well, of course we are. This is gonna be. Thankfully, we don't have to talk about spoilers too much because we try to avoid that type of thing.
Right. And it's one of those situations that even if we tried to spoil it, it would be more like theories than anything.
Yep. They confirmed a few things though.
Yeah, they did.
So, for those that aren't familiar, Westworld is based on the film of the same name, which was written and directed by Michael Crichton in 1973. The film is a bit of a classic for sure, although it's more about just a theme park where the robots suddenly just basically get switched to evil.
Well, no, not necessarily.
Yeah, that's not true. They're still following their programming, it's just like the safety protocols and everything are gone.
Right. It's almost like a perfect reflection of humanity that you become aware, have a little bit of power, and of course you just start killing things.
Yeah, that's the film though. I'm sure the show isn't anything. Well... So, obviously there are going to be some spoilers for Season 1.
Yeah. We're
going to try to keep the ones to Season 2 for pretty minimal.
Yeah. That's we can do that very easily.
Yeah, I mean, like, gonna try to not, like, some characters who return and their fates were unknown, we're probably gonna have to reveal that, because, I mean, they're a major part of the season.
Exactly.
But that's probably gonna be for spoilers, as well as just kind of the theme. Because, like, the first season, the show in general, the big thing they've been trying to expand upon is because, like, the movie was more about just, what happens when a robotic theme park goes rogue. Like, this one, you still get that, but there's a lot of build-up to it, and why exactly it's happening.
Right.
Because it ultimately comes down to a question of what is free will.
Right.
How would you know if you were a robot? And, like, all these other questions. Like, basically questions about the very nature of life and reality.
Yeah, what really makes something alive?
Yeah, and they do some really fascinating stuff with it as a result.
Yeah. Because, I mean, of course, the big revelations are the fact that, okay, this person is real, and this person was created to serve a purpose. And sometimes those functions get intertwined. And especially like in Season 1, we find out one major character is exactly that, where he is we think he's a human, and come to find out he's actually just a creation to fit the purpose of why he's working at Westworld.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely fascinating as a result, and so we, like, beyond the fact that the characters are written fairly well,
yeah,
with pretty good dialogue.
Except for Dolores.
She's probably the most awkwardly written because they're trying to make her this sort of almost messiah-like figure to a degree.
Yeah, she's female Jesus, like she really is.
I wouldn't say entirely female Jesus, because I mean, they probably wouldn't make a natural female Jesus figure kill so many people.
Well, I mean, if it started off as that, and then, especially by the end of this season, no, she's not at all.
I don't know if she'd even necessarily start that. She's more like the determined savior, but not necessarily a divine savior, even if she has divine intentions. That's how I describe it. I don't know about you.
I'll go with it. I'll agree with you on that one.
Yeah. And, so, just to quickly recap what happened at the end of Season 1, we got confirmation that Bernard turned out to be, a host. Wow, I couldn't think of the word host for a second there.
I thought you were
Turns
trying
out
to figure out exactly who he was before he was Bernard.
Well, I was going to get into that.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to interrupt that time.
Bernard is Robot. And Robot is replication of Arnold Weber, one of the founders of the park.
Right.
So he's had a serious question of self-identity, and not to mention he's had his mind wiped several times now.
So many times. We actually get an illusion in season 2 of how much destruction he has been a part of.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because without giving too much away, the season starts with a flash forward, and oh man. And then we get so yeah, like that's one of the big things we get, and of course the hosts start to basically get their free will. Although it's hard to say how much free will they really got.
Right, because we actually get that in season 1, not to spoil even in season 2, where it appears that there are moments where they actually have free will, and come to find out it's actually written out to be this. So they start believing they have free will, and in reality, they're written to believe they have free will.
Yeah, because, I mean, they're still ultimately designed to follow programs, but, like, some get the ability to basically write their own program as it's running.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a whole mind trip as a result. Like, Maeve is an interesting example of that.
Yeah, she's definitely the example.
Because she's still following her program to a degree, but she's also got admin powers. Because you can't really call them god powers, but admin powers.
No, not at all.
And so, yeah. So she's still a pretty major player as a result. Dolores, as she was confirmed to be the oldest host in the park.
Right.
So she's kind of like the wise sage / rebel leader, despite basically starting out as a farmer's daughter.
Yeah.
So it's pretty great to see her just like running around all this time now with like bullet bandoliers, constantly shooting people.
Yeah. Especially when you first are introduced to her and you actually see the loop of how her day begins. And of course she has no idea that this is a constant for her, that every day is the same day. And like you said, now she's this revolutionary running through the literal Wild West.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I gotta mention before we get too far and before I forget this, because he's a minor character, but did you notice who's playing Anton Costa?
Oh, yeah.
Fairs.
Yeah.
The guy we talked about in A Way Out.
Yes.
We confirmed what his real accent is. And it turns out, yes, he does have a big nose in real life.
That was pretty awesome. I was surprised when I saw it. I was like, wow, I cannot believe that came around.
Because I think we literally did that episode the same day the season premiered.
Right.
Or like close to it. Because, it wouldn't have been the same day.
Right, yeah. Because
there's on Sundays we don't record on. But
yeah, I believe it was almost the same week or so.
Yeah. I know. I got a big laugh when I realized who that was. And of course, one of your favorite actresses, Tessa Thompson.
Oh,
she's back.
Yeah. I was so happy to see her back for season 2, and the fact that she made it so far into the season. I did not have much hope with everything the way it went in season 2.
Well, yeah, because she's an evil corporate executive.
Right.
And you're thinking, well, these are people who are going to die. Especially because like when we compare it to other projects that Crichton's done, usually the most overtly terrible people usually have the most gruesome deaths.
Right, exactly. And we had a couple of very gruesome deaths in this season, which ironically enough, I don't know if you read the reviews of the season so far, but a lot of people actually turned on this season around episode 5.
See, yeah, around the middle it got kind of, I don't know, plot. Like there were some interesting ideas that they did, but I think they put too much time into them. Because one of the things, this is a small spoiler, but I mean this was all over the internet,
and it's time in season 1 as well.
Yeah, and they foreshadowed this in season 1. We see some of the other worlds.
Right. This is like,
besides,
for people that have seen Cabin in the Woods, like, this is a perfect example of that.
Yeah. Because in this case, like, because we see 2 others. We see Shogun World. Like, we get a whole episode about that.
Right. Episode and a half, if not 2 episodes, right? Because I know we had a couple of, like, scene skips where we had, like, a B story. But pretty much, like, episodes 5 and 6 were all in Samurai World.
Yeah, there were some critiques about that they spent too long there. But like some of the characters, and like especially because a lot of the characters there, well, their stories were interesting. They didn't ultimately matter too much to the overall arc, aside from reinforcing existing themes.
We just found out that they wrote the same exact story, but just with Japanese characters.
I know, and like they spent like way too much time on that. I think it was one of the problems they had with the middle of the season. As cool as that is to see,
Right, like, hey, you're me, but you're Japanese. Hey, you're me, but you're from the West. Like, it was just so.
it was cool that we get to see that they had all these authentic Japanese actors doing it.
Yeah, it was really good though, and it's funny because, like I said, a lot of people actually didn't like this episode. I absolutely loved it. I think mostly because of the finale of that episode.
Well, that's definitely a good one.
Yeah, tying into gruesome deaths. So like that's probably one of my favorite moments of the whole season.
Yep. And we had some. The other one, I forget what was that one called? Raja World.
I believe so.
Because it's based on like 1920s India, I want to say, in 1910s, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like turn of the century India, more
right,
or less.
Right.
Like, I'm sure if there was an American there, they'd be talking about Teddy Roosevelt. It's like, so where are you going on your vacation? Turn of the century, India. So it's a very colonial setting as a result. But we don't spend nearly as much time there.
No, not at all. No.
Yeah, although the character we meet there, and like, her story ends up being way more important later on. Plus, just the setting shows that it's not just Westworld that's gone crazy; it's all the parks.
Exactly.
Because we see that in episode 4?
Yeah, right. Yeah, yep.
So, yeah, like just fitting that all together, that was good. But yeah, then when we hit Shogun World, unfortunately, despite all the hype that ended up not going over so well.
No, not at all. Like I said, I think one of the main problems was the fact they kind of focused so much on, hey, you're me, but you're a different nationality than it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just that interesting aspect of them being stuck in a different culture.
Because there's some social commentary there that works. It's like people can have the same story no matter what race they are. But it felt like they spent too much time hammering on that not so subtle metaphor.
Right. And then,
don't get me wrong,
and then of course, it was also the redundancy, I believe, from that episode of, oh, you're going against your programming. You're not supposed to be at this point at this time.
Yeah.
I like the episode, but I can understand why people got a little bit tired of it at that point. But the come around by the end, I say, was worth it.
Oh, absolutely. There's still a lot of interesting stuff that was going on there. And one of the better ones was the story that focused on another side character. I don't want to give too much away.
Right.
But he was a pretty minor character in the first season. I don't even know if he was cast in the first season. They might have recast him or something. Because, like, it focuses on the leader of a group that existed in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
And in season 2, we get more focus on them.
Yeah.
And it's really well done.
Yeah.
I want to say that's episode. What was that, episode 7 or 8?
I believe it was 7.
Yeah. Because, yeah, it's 5 and 6 were kind of lost people. 7, it was interesting, but people had already kind of been lost, and they weren't necessarily fan of that diversion.
No, it was 8. It was 8. You're right. It's 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably 5 through 7 that is the weakest chunk of the season then. Because 8, even if you don't care, it really is interesting.
It makes you care. Like, this was, to me, the best example of them saying these characters have free will. Like, they've grown into becoming actual humans.
Yeah. No, that episode definitely had something to say.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to think what else to cover because
we gotta talk about Ed Harris's character.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, is this a good time to because we get a lot more backstory on Ed Harris's character, who, small spoiler here, but again, season 1, we found out was actually William.
Yes.
A character also from season 1, played by the very, very underrated Jimmy Simpson.
Amen to that. I will completely agree. When
I
saw he was a part of the cast, I was so happy.
Right? And it turns out to be Ed Harris. Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, what a twist! Like, okay, in season 1, we're presented with William's character, and I believe Logan. They're running as business partners who want to invest in Westworld. They come to Westworld to get this experience, and they're pretty much transformed by this new environment. And you're thinking the entire time this is actually happening simultaneously with the main stories. And come to find out, a lot of season 1 is actually a flashback.
Yep.
And we see Ed Harris as the quote-unquote man in black that shows up. And he actually knows, as he says, he knows how the game plays, and he wants to change it completely. And we get a lot of exposition and understanding as to why he became the person that he is now.
Yeah, no, it's yeah. See, like, because the revelation about William happens. What is it? Is it the end of episode 9 or the beginning of episode 10?
I believe it was the end of 9. It was before the season finale.
Okay, yeah, so the end of episode 9. So we didn't get enough time in the finale to really explore the implications of that. Whereas, yeah, the second season, especially the first few episodes, look at that, because we get a couple of more flashbacks with William, which is pretty good. There's one scene in particular which is like, first of all, that had to be really rough. I think it's episode 4? Might have been 3. Or was it the one where they go and, like, take a tour of the park?
Oh.
And, like, it's all the executives just kind of walking around and looking.
Yeah.
While everyone's shut down. So all those poor people playing the hosts had to hold still for, like, that scene goes on for a while.
A long time, yeah. Yeah, that was very early in the season. Yeah, that was crazy.
I think that was 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, with a serialized show like this, like, I did rewatch most of the season because the problem, this is a show that can't have a gap week to week.
No, not at all.
You need to be able to watch it at your own pace, which thankfully now you can because now all the episodes are out.
Right, exactly.
And as a result, yeah, you got to cover a lot of stuff.
This is really one of those shows. Also, you have to watch back to back with the seasons. To me,
yeah,
like it hurts to have a long break between seasons when it comes to those.
Well, yeah, because the first season was what, 2016?
Yeah.
It was like closer to fall though, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's been like 18 months.
Yeah, it feels like an eternity. It really does.
Yep.
Because there's so much that happened, and so much that, of course, happened in this season as well. But not to, I don't want to spoil too much when it comes to the ending, but I have to ask you the main thing, like, where do you think they're going in terms of time? Because I know we got a kind of a flash forward at the epilogue, and we had like a big revelation at the end of season 2. Do you think we're gonna kind of like have that mix, or are we like really going far into the future with the next season?
I think we're gonna get a mix.
Okay.
Because I do think they're gonna follow up on that. Because, yeah, like, it's very much a question of one of the things they really explore is what happens if what do you consider a cage? Do you know you're in a cage? All that type of stuff. Because this is a very important part of free will. Because these are beings that came into life
are finding out that they actually are made by others to serve their purpose, and now they are either more intelligent or physically stronger, or both, compared to their masters.
And the flash forward ties into stuff we've been seeing all season, and really hits you home there. It's like, oh man, it's like the show is running the risk of pulling a Lost. We're doing too much of a mind screw,
right?
But I think they still know what they're doing.
Yeah, they haven't gone so far off the edge right now.
No, I mean, not every step is going to be perfect. Like I said, like, they probably spent too much time because it might have honestly just been because they had 10 required episodes.
Yeah. We've
seen
that a lot lately with shows that have a little bit too much with not enough.
Which could happen, I mean,
because
you got to delicately map this out, and there's like, but we also have to match 10 episodes. Even if the overall length doesn't matter too much, we just have to try to keep it to an hour. And of course, the finale was 90 minutes. So it's like, they probably could have paced.
I'll give them that. It flew by. I did not expect it. When I saw the time, I was like, man, this is going to be rough. And it was a great 90 minutes.
Absolutely. I mean, there's some parts that still bum me out.
Yeah, of course.
You know, because there's always at least one likable character in these shows that you feel maybe didn't deserve what happened to them. You can probably guess which one I mean, but I don't want to be too spoilery.
Yeah.
There's another one I thought they treated very well, despite all the horrible things that happened to them. You'll probably guess which one I mean by that, too. But, ultimately, I would say it was a pretty solid season.
Yeah, maybe not as strong as the last, but...
Almost certainly not.
Yeah, I think that the premise of the last season with the reveal and the build-up to the host finding out about themselves is a lot more prominent than the fallout. But I think they kind of like did a good setting the stage for something bigger.
Yep. shout out to all the guest stars and the new
Oh
cast members.
man,
I don't think there was really any terrible ones among them.
no, none that I could think of. It was none that I really sat back like, wow, why is this on my screen right now?
Yeah, like some of the characters maybe ultimately didn't have as much impact, but like the casting was really spot on. Like I loved that my main man Hiroyuki Sanada showed up in Shogun World.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily like his character that much, but I was still happy to see him.
No, he did a great job though. I thought it was worth
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Twilight veteran Julia Jones getting a much more dignified role. So it's just that I think that was the first thing I saw her in was when she showed up in Breaking Dawn.
Okay.
So I remember she's like, "All right, yeah, she's the one who's." And then I just love what happens with her character in those movies because it's like a nothing bit, but it ties into one of my favorite characters from those movies. So I just have this weird affection for Julia Jones, even though I don't think I've seen her in much.
Yeah, I will agree with that.
And of course, one of my favorite underrated characters, Felix, is still around. I love that dude so much because he's just like the most delightfully naive dork.
I know, and it's so sad because there's so many moments where you look at him and when he looks at the situation, he thinks for sure I'm going to die, but he's just so helpful.
Yeah, and you kind of sympathize with his buddy a bit more now.
Oh my!
Oh, sorry, he's not really his buddy, but I guess
no,
it's his buddy.
Associate, his work associate.
Yeah, that dick he tolerates.
Yeah.
No, it's like I said, we can't get too much in the spoilers, but the action's still good. The music's still phenomenal. Like we didn't really have a chance to talk about that, but the music's great.
Oh man, when the first season was a mind trip for me because we have all these covers, these piano covers, of like a lot of '90s stuff. I'm hearing them like, wait a minute, that's Radiohead. Wait,
yeah.
Wait a minute.
It's such a cute element of the show.
Wait a minute, that's House of the Rising Sun.
Yeah, no, that one I recognized.
Yeah, like it's so hilarious to hear those songs done in such a classical format, and it actually ties into some of the characters too. Like I've heard this song before, and it's funny because you're thinking about like a lot of these people that are making these androids probably grew up on this music. So of course they would turn piano versions, westernized versions of songs from the '90s, '80s, and '90s into Westworld.
The Clearwater theme is based on a real song, right?
Yeah.
Which one's that again?
Oh man, I forgot. I know what you're talking about though.
Yeah, I just can't think of the name. But no, yeah, it's look. If you like the first season, you're probably gonna like the second one.
Yeah, it's gonna draw you in no matter what.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, like I said, like it doesn't really get into a lull until the middle, but even if you stick it out, you'll be rewarded.
Yeah, and I think you'll definitely find aspects, even with the middle portion, that you'll enjoy.
Yep. So I don't think there's much else to really say there.
No, it's funny. We're trying as best we can to hang on to this part, so I don't think we really want to move too far into the next.
Nope. No, I think it's
it's all going downhill from here.
It kind of is. Man, I don't like being negative on this show, but it's probably gonna be. Look, I'm gonna try my best because, like, it's not gonna be too hard, I think. But we're probably gonna critique the next part a lot. So just warning you now, because we got to talk about Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. Okay, I gotta put it out here. I really didn't like the first one, despite all the good points it had. Like, what was your opinion on the first Jurassic World, James?
I think it was solid. It didn't do anything to help really the franchise. It didn't really get me excited about this apparent trilogy, but it was solid.
Like here's the thing that bugged me. Like, besides the fact that I didn't think the characters were very good, because like if you look at the original Jurassic Park, the characters are so well done, and it's very simple, but it's just. It works so well, especially with all the little subtle bits in the film, and it's like, and it frustrates me so much because it still has like most of the cinematography. It's like, what's his name? Colin Trevorrow, who did the first one. There, is it Trevorrow or is it Tremoro?
Let me make sure.
The guy who did the first one.
Yeah, I know.
he has a very good cinematic eye, and he's really good at making scenes actually scary, even if it's mostly using CGI. So I don't want to say the guy's untalented.
Yeah, Trevorrow.
Yeah, it's Trevorrow? Okay. Yeah, I didn't want to mess with my computer while I'm trying to talk.
Yeah.
So. And he didn't direct the sequel, so...
No.
Yeah, it's... Like, he made what should have been a terrible movie very enjoyable.
Right.
But I hate the characters. Like, it's just as simple as that. Like, they're so stock, it's not even funny.
Yeah. And it returns here, too.
This isn't the unfortunate problem. Is like, they don't improve on this. It's... If there's one thing I like about this new one, though, that the original didn't do, it's the original Jurassic World, that is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as mean-spirited.
No, not at all. No.
Because the quirky, commentator played by, what's his name, Jake Johnson.
Right.
Yeah, in the first one, he's funny, but I always felt like he was kind of like a middle finger to people who would critique the movie.
He was a douche the whole time.
I know. Like, it's frustrating. And then, like, they're saying, oh, it's bad taste to wear a shirt from the original Jurassic Park. It's like, you guys called it Jurassic World. Like, there's still some good commentary, especially, like, when they make fun of corporate sponsorships, even though, of course, the film itself is full of corporate sponsorships.
Yeah, it really is.
Like, you know what, if you're stuck with this, at least they're kind of making fun of it. Like, the film kind of felt like it was trying to rebel against itself, but then they had one of the most mean-spirited deaths with freaking Katie McGrath's character.
Mm-hmm.
The assistant who just gets horribly murdered.
Yeah.
And, like, this is because, like, if you look at the original Jurassic Park, the person with the worst death is the least, where it's, ultimately, like, there's two people that have pretty horrible deaths. And one of the ones, it's considered a horrible accident, and the whole reason, the events of the film happen. And we still don't really see him get eaten on screen.
Right.
And then the second one, it's hilarious, and it kind of suits the character because he has almost no redeeming qualities whatsoever. The lawyer from the first one.
Mm-hmm.
What, I can't even remember his name. Sorry, I just want to make sure you were following me. But yeah, and then in Jurassic World, like, Katie McGrath had one of the most brutal deaths, and I don't understand why. Because it's like, is it because she took a phone call and the kids didn't listen to her?
Exactly.
Like, that really bothered me through the whole movie.
That was to tell everybody to quiet your cell phones and not take calls during movies or you will die.
Apparently.
That was the commentary.
I don't know. So in that respect, Fallen Kingdom doesn't do that.
No, not at all.
I think it has some other issues because they changed the director, of course. But to be fair, they don't. None of the deaths are really that mean-spirited.
No. It's some brutal deaths, though. It's rough, but
yeah,
at least,
but most
like,
of the people,
the brutal deaths happen to people that you feel like they're worthy of it.
Well, there's one character that I absolutely hated.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? He deserves that.
Yeah.
He actually probably deserves worse. So we should. Okay. So the premise of this one is, without getting too far into it.
Well, I mean, it's a sequel, so we have to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A team of mercenaries show up on the what do you call it? Yeah, you show up on the island of Jurassic World.
Right.
And they end up leaving, like, the lagoon gate open, which releases a dinosaur, and then before long...
the lagoon gate open?
Isn't that pretty much what happened?
Yeah, no. I just thought about, like, who let the dogs out? Like, who let the dinosaurs out now? Like, I'm thinking, like, somebody was literally listening to that song and thought about, hey, how cool would it be if we just left the gate open? And it was like, just everybody's playing Who Let the Dinosaurs Out in the studio when they're doing this.
Yeah, so they end up accidentally releasing the hounds, as it were. so of course the government has to get involved. I'm the government. I'm the reason nothing works.
And what better way to solve this dinosaur problem than having a committee meeting?
Yep. Politics. And then who shows up but Ian Malcolm? Because Jeff Goldblum needed a paycheck.
It is only one of two appearances in the entire movie.
They were probably shot the same day.
I know, it was the same scenery, it was the same seating, everything was the exact same.
Yeah. Oh, like, it drove me nuts, too, because while you didn't see a lot of his footage in the trailers, he was all over the marketing.
Right.
And I'm just like, come on.
And he's probably on screen for, what, 8 minutes total?
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, it's a good extended cameo, but for them, like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's been marketed heavily, and it's like, oh, it doesn't really matter. It's like how Godzilla, it's like, hey, look, Bryan Cranston. See Bryan Cranston? Guess how much he's actually in that movie.
Right. I mean, Jeff Goldblum's character is there for just simply exposition the entire time.
Yep. Well, he also offers some philosophizing from a mathematician point of view,
right,
on the idea of chaos. And and of course, like, it's interesting because he's ideologically opposed to Claire, played by Bryce Dallas Howard,
right,
who's actually trying to save the dinosaurs. Well, of course, since he said he's like they shouldn't have been resurrected in the first place. Maybe we should just let them die. So ultimately, Claire wants to go save the dinosaurs because it turns out a volcano's about to erupt on the island. As if it wasn't crazy enough, the dinosaurs got out through the freaking lagoon gate. Also, there's a volcano.
Yes.
If this sounds confusing, it kind of is.
Oh, it's made even worse later on.
Yes, it is.
With one incredible, miraculous escape from hot lava.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second, but I just want to finish that.
I roll my eyes so fast, Mike.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Man.
So I'm trying. Chris Pratt's character's name was it Owen Grady?
It's Owen. Yeah.
Yeah. Who was such a douche in the first one.
He's not that much better here.
He's a bit better.
He's not
and
that
it helps.
much. I think the reason that he's a little bit better because they didn't give him much to talk about. Like, he doesn't do that much talking in this one.
No, he's mostly there for muscle now.
Right, that's it.
And of course his relationship with his boy Blue.
Yeah.
Which is the true romance of the film.
Really
Thank you
is.
very much.
It was amazing because when this happened, I realized, oh my God, they do this at the worst possible time. Rampage just came out a couple of months ago.
I know, this is the problem, because The Rock had such a good relationship with George in that movie and made that movie work. Chris Pratt has a decent relationship with Blue, but you need to watch the first movie to really appreciate it.
Exactly. Because that whole movie collection just doesn't do it.
No. Yeah, so he of course wants to save his boy Blue, so now we have a movie. Oh. Because they're going to go to the island to save the dinosaurs before lava kills them.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and Richard Hammond's... No, not Richard Hammond. John Hammond.
John Hammond,
right?
yeah. John Hammond, yeah.
John Hammond's old partner, Benjamin Lockwood.
No, Sir Benjamin Lockwood.
Sorry. I forgot to fully roll the character dice. It's a good name, but it really feels like solid character name 101. Like, it's not generic, but at the same time, it feels like you could figure out exactly who this person is.
Oh, there are
just by the name.
There are so many moments in this movie where I'm thinking that they're just sitting around throwing out ideas, and whatever they think of sounds the coolest, they just put it in the script.
Well, yeah.
Even though it wasn't cool, even though it didn't work, it was just like, okay, we like it, let's go with it.
Yep, it works. But yeah, so we have our movie, and of course, people are up to no good because. And the thing is, they talk a bit more about something that came out in the first one, which was, they created the Indominus Rex. Mm-hmm. So they talked about created dinosaurs and the nature of cloning, which for some reason made me think about Resident Evil. So it almost feels like there's no zombies or anything,
right?
But despite all of that, it made me think of it's like bioweapons and nonsense. I'm like, this feels like a Resident Evil script somehow got inserted into parts of Jurassic World too.
You know what, Peter? The worst part about this is not only does it make you think about more movies than it actually makes you think about the movie that you're watching.
Yeah.
But there were so many moments, and I hate to spoil this one, but just a minor spoiler. Late in the movie, it's the part that I probably hated the most. There was a sneaking moment, a stealth moment by one of the dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah.
First, the dinosaur is completely natural. Chasing the enemy, trying trying to eat whatever it's trying to get a hold of. Then all of a sudden it becomes a stealth mission where he slowly opens the door with his talon and sneaks around.
Yep.
And not in the way of, okay, I'm going to be just an animal that's trying to hunt. No, this was like a human sneaking around.
Yep. Now, there's two other things I want to critique. One's a nitpick that you kind of hinted at before, and it's debatable how much of a nitpick this really is, but it's something that really got underlined in this film. Lava doesn't work that way.
No.
Okay, so to be fair, this isn't the only film that does this.
No.
Like, just off the top of my head, 2012 did this as well.
Right.
Lava isn't just dangerous if you touch it.
Exactly.
Holy heck, people need to understand that.
You cannot get within literal inches from lava and not be affected by it.
No, the fumes and the heat it generates, they spread out. Like, you can't Mario Brothers this. You can't just go leaping from rock to rock. The fumes and the heat will still probably kill you.
Exactly.
Like, ever since Volcano, when John Carroll Lynch jumped into the lava to throw a man to safety, it seems like Hollywood's been like, this is the lava we
This
as
is
we
how it
understand
works from now on.
Yeah, even though that's not how it works at all. What is wrong with you people? Also, why was that movie also about race? It's the movie Volcano, for those who don't get what I'm talking about. I just, sorry, that one's really started to bug me, and...
Yeah, it's one of those movies that's so bad it's not even good. It's just really, really bad.
It's hilarious that I find Chris Pratt more realistic when he's battling a freaking space tyrant with the power to rearrange the cosmos and turn his people into silly string than I do him escaping from lava. Just what?
How's that even physically possible? But yeah,
I know.
It is. It is in this. In this case, it is.
And here's the other... Now, this one, I don't know how much you picked up on that. Well, no, you probably did, because we kind of talked about this already. They do a lot of homages to the original Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Which is a terrible idea.
Because it just shows how inferior this movie is.
Well, especially in one respect. Like I said, I'm really trying not to rag on this, because ultimately, I kind of liked it more than the last one.
I will agree with you on that one. It was it's a good sequel and a better movie overall. It's just still not a good movie.
No, not that, well, I'll get to that too. But, like, the thing that drives me nuts is they do these references to the original, and most of the time when they do dinosaur references, the dinosaurs in the original weren't CG.
Right.
They were realistic, like, animatronics.
Yes.
Everything in this is CG now, and it doesn't look better.
No, not at all.
Like, yeah, you know, if you do a CG to CG comparison, absolutely it looks better. You know, technology's come a long way in 25 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, I'll totally give it that. But
they used practical effects back then.
Yeah, I mean, practical effects almost always look better. I mean, arguably the only time where the practical versus the CGI doesn't work is if you compare the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where you could see the actors' mouths in the turtle mouths.
Oh, yeah.
Like, God bless the Jim Henson studio for doing the best with those costumes.
Right.
But, like, they looked better in the second one, though.
Oh, yeah, the world's better.
Yeah. Of course, that had Vanilla Ice, so, you know.
Hey, that one had Kevin Nash in it, so it had to be up to par.
Well, yeah, you have to have Super Shredder.
Hey.
I still want to meet him in real life at some point, so I can say I loved him as Super Shredder and say it unironically. You see what this movie's done to us? We're just going off in tangents about Teenage Mutant.
Everything else but the movie.
We're trying to be nice to this, because I don't want to be negative, but, like, it's just, yeah, that whole... The visual thing just really bothered me.
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny is, like, I'm going to do something I don't normally do. We're kind of in the minority, because critics are really split on this film.
Yeah, it's amazing that it actually not only grossed as well as it did, but people are actually enjoying it a lot more than I expected them to.
Yeah, and I honestly I don't want to sound like a movie snob, but I don't entirely get it.
No.
I get part of it. I'm not gonna say I don't get it at all, but I don't think these are good characters.
I think if I'm looking at it from the perspective of saying, okay, is this just a weekend popcorn flick? Then I could maybe give it a pass. But
there's so many better ones these days.
I know, and that's one thing. Well, another thing is that this is supposed to be a part of a big trilogy that's actually connected to an established franchise. So I'm looking at it not just as a popcorn flick, but as a sequel that is supposed to carry on the rest of the franchise.
Yeah.
It's not good.
No, it's really not. And, like, confusing stuff keeps happening, and I don't know. It's like, I'm still gonna just put it out there. I still think the worst Jurassic Park movie is Jurassic Park 3. Like, that's almost impossible to beat because of how badly paced that one is and how stupid people are in that movie. All right, we're an island full of dangerous monsters. Hey, let's start yelling with a megaphone.
Yeah.
Okay, we only have so many characters we're going to allow to die in the script. Let's kill them all off really early. That's Jurassic Park 3, folks. You don't even need to touch on the part where he has the weird hallucination on the plane and a raptor talks to him.
Oh my goodness.
Which has been memed so often now, it's freaking dead. But, despite all that, Fallen Kingdom's going to be fine. It already made almost $800 million.
Right.
Which, you know what? There's better movies, in my opinion, that should have made more money. But this is far from the worst thing that can make this much money.
Not at all. Especially for a summer movie, we've seen so many worse. But,
oh, yeah.
I mean, my thing
Any Transformer movie, except maybe the first one, is worse than this.
I will agree.
Like, that's still the bar.
I don't necessarily hate the first one, but the quality dip between 1 and 2 was so tremendous that I just never bothered after that.
See, that's why the writer's strike is bad. And this is why you shouldn't replace 2 okay writers with Aaron Kruger. Just gonna emphasize that, like... you know what, I shouldn't go into that, because that's just gonna be another angry rant, and you really don't want to do that.
We just thank God that Jeff Goldblum just gave us a little bit of time. That's all I can ask. And he did.
Goldblum is like... I watched an interview with him where, like, it was clearly kind of a bit, because they joked around that they thought they were going to interview Bryce Dallas Howard, so their first question was, what's it like being Ron Howard's daughter? And then Goldblum gives them, like, a, jokey, but, like, he actually tries to answer the question.
What?
And at one point, they're like, hey, do you guys want to do a music jam? And then they start playing the Jurassic Park theme.
Wow.
But he adds lyrics. Oh my god, there's a dinosaur. Goldblum just... I don't think he's always like that, but whenever he's in that mood, he's just like the most magical human being.
Exactly.
God bless him. He better not turn out to be terrible.
I know. I don't want to see a Twitter. I don't want to see him trending on Twitter anytime soon.
No, for something terrible. Yeah, well, because we did a small behind-the-scenes look. We did do an episode where we praised someone, and then literally the same day, we found out that person was actually kind of terrible. So I had to go back and edit out that bit, and it was like a minute-long sequence.
Yes.
Oh, Jeff Goldblum, don't let us down,
please.
Please.
Don't let us down, especially after this audio. We have to butcher this.
Yep. So, it was still good that they had some Goldblum.
Yeah.
His scenes were pretty interesting.
Chris Pratt wasn't as bad as he was the last movie.
Yeah, the characters weren't tolerable. The plot's just still not good. I'm
just glad Justice Smith, who was in the Get Down on Netflix, found some more work. He was pretty good in that show, so...
Oh, right, yeah, the freaking tech or whatever.
Yeah, even though he was absolutely terrible here, though. That was a bad casting choice.
Well, some of the casting, like, James Cromwell as Benjamin Lockwood, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I loved Toby Jones as the freaking, like, I guess he's, I know I shouldn't say what he does, because I can't think of his character name. I don't have it on the list here.
Oh, he's another Gunnar. He's a Gunnar.
Gunnar, right.
He's a Gunnar.
That's the one. Yeah, he's pretty great, because I love Toby Jones.
He did a great job. That was really good.
Yeah, he was good. was it Rafe Spall? Eh.
Mm.
He plays a lot of villains too, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Spoiler: there's villains in this movie.
Yeah, very much so. And there's moments that don't make much sense either that involve the villains, even though they're villains.
Yeah. Well, okay, let me ask you this. So Ted Levine's character, Ken Wheatley, did he remind you of all of, like, what would happen if someone tried to be Roland from Jurassic Park 2: Lost World, but didn't know how to do it?
Didn't know it.
Yeah. It's like, I want to be this character, but I don't know how to do it.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
He struck me as a character who might as well be wearing, like, a dinosaur scale vest or something. Like, there was no subtlety with his character. Which is, critique I kind of hurl at the film in general. Like, look no further, because once again, B.D. Wong is back.
Oh, yeah.
And in the first film, he just seemed like a cool dude, and then he shows up in Jurassic World, and he's, like, now oddly evil. And now in this one, he's still kind of evil.
Yeah, Nance is like, I'm just a conceited guy who does whatever I feel is beneficial to me, and if it turns out that you all die because of it, so be it.
Yep. It's weird.
Yeah. But it's made money. So. It's made the money.
Again, Bullseye Goldblum. Yeah, I'm curious what they're gonna say about the market analysis on this one. But I just really hope now that since they're clearly gonna make another one with this much money this quickly, they have to make another one.
Yeah,
it'd be insane
like
not to.
They're promising a trilogy. This is the second movie, and yeah, I guess we're gonna get something.
I'm hoping in the third one, Sam Neill shows up and shows Chris Pratt what a real complex leading man is like. I'm not saying Chris Pratt, can't do complex leading men. He absolutely can.
He does a great job, but when you're stuck with this one, he's just like you said, he's just muscle.
There's no writing.
He's a meathead. That's all he is in this movie.
Anything we probably like about the character is probably from him, because it sure as heck isn't the scripted dialogue.
No, not at all.
It's got to be down to just him actually having some charisma. Could you imagine if someone without charisma played this character?
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. Still, hey, they made a film that easily could have been terrible. Enjoyable enough, I guess.
Yeah,
it's just
it's once again solid.
Yeah, it's the problem is just with a franchise like this,
it should be better.
So many. Yeah, there's so many good films. Even look, Jurassic Park 2 was dumb, but there was still some really enjoyable stuff in that one.
This was entertaining.
Yeah, and I like these less, which is a problem because that one had a freaking T-Rex going a rampage in L.A. That was really dumb. Especially with how they executed it, even if the concept wasn't necessarily terrible. I don't know. I love how I'm trying to defend it because I feel I'm being too negative on another film.
And like I said, it's solid, and it's an okay popcorn flick if you don't really have any investment in the series. If you don't have any investment in the franchise, I think you probably will enjoy it, but you won't think about it anymore afterwards. But if you're a fan of the franchise, then you're going to be probably disappointed with it.
Yeah, look, if you just want to see crazy dinosaur action, yeah, you got it.
Crazy CGI dinosaur action.
Oh, now we're just sounding snobby when we add that.
No, but I mean, it's just some of the things, it just doesn't look too good as CGI when it comes to this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. At least some of the atmosphere was still good, though.
Yeah, except for Stealth Dinosaur.
Psst. Look, get a cloaking device. Those are things, right?
Yeah. In this world, I guess it is.
It's damn cuttlefish DNA all over again.
It's the Fallen Kingdom.
Why did you add that?
In the Fallen Kingdom universe, that exists.
I know. That's still one of the more interesting aspects for me, though. It's just people are bored of the Wondrous. We gotta add something new. I'm like, yeah, that would happen. Well, on that note, thank you for joining me today, James.
Oh, yeah, it's always a pleasure. Okay, maybe not, but I'll just stick with it.
You can't smell me. You know it's a pleasure that you can't smell me. That's what we're talking about, right?
Peter,
I'm not accidentally revealing an insecurity at the end of this.
Peter, just always know you're a very good mother.
Thanks, bro. And now, cue the Rick and Morty bit. It's like, I tell you, Morty, just making another Jurassic Park without Goldblum. It's like, you can't do it. He's the Goldblum Morty. Oh, jeez, Rick. I don't know. I mean, they still got Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt keeps got vaporized in the Marvel movies. Even the Marvel movies don't care about him, and they made him sexy. Oh, jeez, Rick, that seems really harsh. You know what else is harsh, Morty? Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs that eat your insides. Now, go get me a 6-pack. Oh, which, Rick? A vodka, of course, Morty. If we're gonna watch Jurassic Park, I want to get Russian drunk.